Okay, today we will understand refraction of light through a prism. In fact, a glass prism. Now, a prism is a triangular glass block. Looks more or less like this. So this is the front face of the prism. These are the side faces. This angle of the prism is known as the angle of the prism. So this is the angle of the prism. So this A is the angle of the prism. This is the base of the prism. This surface and the other side on that surface, these are known as the refracting surface. So light enters and exit from the other side and exit from this side. So light passes through this surface and therefore this is known as the refracting surface of a prism. Okay, so this is a prism, a normal prism. Okay, now to understand the refraction of light through a prism, so this is the face of the prism, this is the angle of the prism, this BC is the base. Now suppose a monochromatic ray of light. Now monochromatic ray of light means light of single color. Say a red light or a blue light or a green light, so that's a monochromatic, right? Light of single ray, single color. And polychromatic light means light of multiple colors, like white light. White light consists of 7 colors Vibreur, and therefore it is a polychromatic. Now if you pass a white light through a prism, this white light will split into 7 colors, and that is known as dispersion. But since here we want to study refraction, we are taking a light of single color, only one single color. So therefore there will be no dispersion taking place, only refraction. So suppose this is a monochromatic ray of light, say PQ. Now this is the surface of the prism. So this is the normal. This is the normal, say 90 degree normal. And this is the original path of the light. The original path of the light, but since light is traveling from a rarer to denser, that's air to glass, it will bend towards the normal. So it bends more or less like this. It bends like this. And at this surface again, when it emerges out, it is actually traveling from a denser to rarer medium. So if I draw a normal here, then it will go away from normal and hence it moves in this direction. So this PQ, this QR and RS. So the light is following this path, where you can say this PQ is the incident ray, this QR is the refracted ray, and this RS we can say is the emergent ray. Okay, this angle, as you know, it is known as the angle of incidence I1, and this angle is known as the angle of emergence I2. And these are the two angle of refractions, that is R1 and this is R2. Okay. Now, if you see that in this prism, when the light is entering the prism, it is entering, suppose, in this way. But when a prism is kept on its path, the light, instead of going in this direction, the light is coming out in this direction. So clearly you can see that this prism, what this prism is doing, this prism is actually deviating this light, is actually bending this light. Now if I say how much is the bending, how much is the extent of bending, that what I can do, I can extend this incident ray forward and I can extend this emergent ray backward. So now I can say that this is the path of the incident ray, but instead of following this path, the incident ray is deviating this much up to this much, and then it is traveling through this part. So that means I can see the incident ray is actually bending this much, and then it is following this path, and this angle is known as the angle of deviation, the angle of deviation of the prism, and it is in fact denoted by the letter delta, the small letter delta. In this diagram you can understand. So this is the original path of the light, and the light, instead of going in this path, is bending and emerging out in this path. So understand, so I can extend this incident ray forward, I can extend this emergent ray backward. I got this angle, and this angle is delta. So this is the angle of deviation, okay, understand. Now there is a relation. The relation is that I1 plus I2 is always A plus delta. So that's the angle of incidence, angle of emergence, that's the angle of prism, and that is the angle of deviation. Okay, these derivations are not required, and nor any numericals are coming from this chapter. So it is for your knowledge. And there is another also relation, that this A R1, the value of R1 plus R2 is always equals to A. So that value of R1 and R2 is always equals to A. So this is the factors on which this is the about the refraction of a prism. Okay, so this diagram is also very important. All of you should practice. Okay. Now this deviation, angle of deviation, actually depend upon certain factors. Now what are the factors? This angle of deviation, the first factor, this angle of deviation. So we can say that the factors on which the angle of deviation depends. The factors on which the angle of deviation depends. The first factor it depends is of angle of incidence. It depends upon this angle of incidence. So this angle of deviation depends upon this angle of incidence. I will explain you later. Next, the next factor it depends upon is the angle of prism. Is angle of prism. Okay. Now how it depends on angle of prism? It depends upon greater the angle of prism, more is the deviation. So for number 1 I am explaining you later, but number 2 what they told, the angle of deviation depends upon the angle of prism, and as the angle of prism increases, the angle of deviation also increases. Okay. Number 3, it also depends upon the material of the prism. So first of all, angle of prism means greater the angle of prism, more is the angle of deviation. So greater the angle of the prism, more is the angle of. The third is actually it depends upon the material of the prism. In fact, material of the prism is it actually depend upon the refractive index. That means the greater the refractive index of the material, greater is the angle of deviation. You know, material of the prism means actually depends upon the refractive index, and that is greater the refractive index of the material, greater will be the difference. Deviation is the deviation. Okay, so if for example, you know, for glass the angle, the refractive index of glass is 1.5, and for diamond For diamond it is 2.4, and hence in light deviates more in diamond than in glass. So it depends upon the material of the prism. Okay, and it also depends upon the wavelength. Wavelength or color. Okay, because different color means different wavelength. Now greater the wavelength, less will be the deviation. Greater the wavelength, less is the deviation. Okay, so hence you can say that red light deviates least. Red deviates least than violet. So violet light deviates most, red light deviates least. And just now I told you about dispersion. You can understand what happens in dispersion, that if this is the prism and if this is the white light, consists of Vibgyor, then out of these 7 colors, now all of them will deviate or split at different angles. Out of this, red will deviate least and violet will deviate most, and hence they split into 7 colors. And accordingly all the other colors also deviated, with violet with maximum deviation and red with minimum deviation. So we get on the screen, we get a spectrum like this, with violet at the bottom and red at the top. So this process is called dispersion. So understand, so angle of the prism, material of the prism, wavelength or color, and it also depends upon angle of incidence. Okay, angle of incidence I am explaining you now. Okay, now I'll explain you about that angle of incidence, dependence of angle of deviation on the angle of incidence. So this is very important. Okay, again let us repeat the diagram. Now suppose here is a source of light, and a source of light, say a source of monochromatic light, say a laser light. You have seen that laser torch. So here is the torch at point T, and this is the light, and as usual, if you remember, it will bend like this towards the normal, and here also when it comes out it will go away from normal. And suppose this is a particular angle of incidence, this is the particular angle of emergence, and this is the angle of deviation, and this is the angle of deviation. Now how it depends on the angle of incidence, this angle of deviation, how it depends. Now initially it is observed that as we increase the angle of incidence, the angle of deviation will decrease. Now how can we increase the angle of incidence? We can just slightly rotate the prism, in this way, keeping the source of light here. So you can understand the normal shifts. Now when the normal shifts, the angle automatically increases. Understand what I am telling? So just keeping the keeping the source of light at that point. Try to understand from this figure. Okay, now if I this is the this pen is the angle of incidence, this pen is the incident ray, and this is the prism. Now if I rotate the prism, the normal shifts and this angle increases. So if I just rotate the prism little bit, then the normal shifts. Now this becomes the angle of incidence. So angle of incidence increases. So what we'll do, we'll slightly increase the angle of incidence, we'll see the angle of deviation decreases. We'll again slightly increase the angle of incidence, we'll see the angle of deviation decreases. But after reaching a certain minimum value, as I'm trying to understand, as I'm increasing the angle of incidence, so next time when I'm rotating the prism in this way, see, if I'm rotating the prism, the normal shift in this way, now this angle of incidence increases, right? So the angle of deviation start decreasing, right? But after reaching a minimum value, now the angle of deviation cannot decrease and decrease and decrease continuously. So after, now this is the angle of deviation for this particular angle of incidence. When I am increasing the angle of incidence, the angle of deviation is decreasing. Again I am increasing the angle of incidence more, then again the angle of deviation is decreasing. Again I am increasing the angle of incidence more, again the angle of deviation is decreasing, right? But after reaching a minimum value, say at this point, now as we increase the angle of incidence, the angle of deviation start increasing. Now you understand what is happening? Initially the angle of incidence is increasing, the angle of deviation is decreasing as we are increasing the angle of incidence. But after reaching a minimum value, okay, after reaching a minimum value, then the angle of incidence start increasing with increasing angle of incidence. Okay, so I'm drawing the diagram again clearly. So this is so again you understood what I told. As I increase the angle of incidence, so this is say 30 degree, the angle of deviation is this, and when I increase from this angle of incidence from 30 to 40 degree, the angle of deviation decreases. So angle of deviation decreases and decreases. Now if I understand with a graph, now this is angle of deviation in the y-axis, and if I keep the angle of incidence in the x-axis, okay, now suppose for a particular angle of incidence, the angle of deviation is this. Okay, so for a particular angle of incidence, the angle of deviation is this. Now if I increase the angle of incidence, I am increasing, I told you how, by just slightly rotating the prism, the normal shifts, the angle of incidence increases. Now what I see here, I see the angle of deviation decreases. So the angle of deviation decreases. Again I increase more, the angle of incidence more, again the angle of deviation decreases. Again I increases more, the angle of deviation decreases. But once it reaches a very minimum value, that is called the minimum angle of deviation. After reaching that value, now what will happen? Now as I increase the angle of incidence, now this angle of deviation start increasing. Now it start increasing, understand? So what I have done, this is the angle of deviation for a particular angle of incidence. I am increasing the angle of incidence, the deviation is decreasing. Again I am increasing the angle of incidence, the deviation is decreasing. I am increasing the angle of incidence, the deviation decreasing. Again I am increasing the angle of incidence, now the deviation is not again I am increasing the angle of incidence, now the deviation is not decreasing, now the angle of deviation start increasing. So now it start increasing like this. So ultimately we'll get this parabolic graph. Okay, we'll get this graph and we can say this value of angle of deviation, this value of angle of deviation, I say this is the angle of minimum deviation of that prism for this particular angle of incidence, and this is the minimum angle of deviation. So understand, very important, understand. And this position of the prism, if you remember, I told you that after reaching a certain minimum value, now how it has reaches to that certain minimum value, I have continuously increased the angle of incidence, the angle of deviation is decreasing. Again I am increasing, the angle of deviation is decreasing, and when this angle of deviation reached a minimum value, after that now the angle of deviation start decreasing. So that position of the prism, that value what we got, and that we say as the minimum deviation, angle of minimum deviation, and that position of the prism we say that it is at the position of minimum deviation, we say it is at the position of minimum deviation, understand, because after this now the angle of deviation will start increasing, so that position is called the position of minimum deviation. And remember, at the position of minimum deviation, at the position of minimum deviation, always this angle of incidence will be equal to angle of emergence. Very important, at the position of minimum deviation, the angle of incidence and the angle of emergence will be equal, and also the refracted ray inside the prism is parallel to the base. Now this refracted ray is always parallel to the base at the position of minimum deviation, means when the prism is at minimum deviation, the first thing is that these two angles will be equal, the second is that this refracted ray will be parallel to this base, and the third is that this R1 and R2 will be equal, understand, this is parallel, so R1 is also equals to R2. So the refracted ray inside the prism is always parallel to the base. Very important. Okay. Now from here we can also get a relation of minimum deviation. Now if you remember, just now we have seen that the angle of incidence plus angle of emergence is always equals to the angle of prism and the angle of minimum deviation. Now at position of minimum deviation, now at position of minimum deviation we say angle of deviation, that value of angle of deviation let us take as write as delta minimum, so that value delta minimum, so we have to just get an expression of minimum angle of deviation, and I1 is equal to I2 we know at position of minimum deviation. Now if I say कि I1 equals to I2, let us take as I say. Now what can I say? I can say I plus I is equal to angle of prism plus delta minimum. So therefore I can say it is 2I minus A is equal to delta minimum. So 2I means twice of angle of incidence, minus A means angle of prism, and we get the value of minimum deviation. Okay, understand? So this is refraction of light through a prism, and this is very important, and especially this part, that how it depends upon how the angle of deviation depends on the angle of incidence. Okay.